Okay, so now that we've built our model, it's time to test it out. So we know our outcome. We know that we want to punch through that board, or whatever the outcome is that you've built your model around. We have studied our exemplars. So we've gone through what they do, how they do it, the focus that they have, the mental mindset that they put themselves into to achieve that. Whether it's been experiences that they've had. We've practiced what we've done. So we've put it into some practical skills. Maybe if it's charisma or something like that, we've used it on friends, family, tested it out on them first to see whether it works, tested it out on colleagues if it's in a business sense. For this one, for this example, I've done martial arts. I've practiced on different surfaces, bags, in the air, making sure that my technique's good. What else do I need? Maybe it's the clothing I'm wearing, as I'll go into. This one can be a little bit restrictive, especially if I'm out that way. So something like that. Space as well, as I'll get into as well, as we get into testing the model, as well as a whole bunch of other things right then and there to do it there. So what else do you need? So it's worth looking at that as well when you're in that situation, because it's very well and good to sit back and observe, but we need to take into account all these other things when we're in that situation as well, when we're actually testing the model and refining. So what else do we need to do to refine this as well? So, in this case, thinking about that plank of wood, what size do I need? Those sort of things. As well as the area in which we're doing it, as well as any other distractions or anything else around as well that may impede on our focus. Is it a good day to do it? Have I hurt my wrist doing something else, or am I fatigued? Those sort of things. Now think of this in another sense as well. If it is going after more sales, is it a good time? What's the financial state of the world in right now? What's happening in your local area? Are people going to buy this? Like, let's say you're trying to sell farm equipment in spring. Perfect time. In winter, not so much. But maybe, farmers do have that money in winter. I don't know because I don't model that. If that's something you're after, excellent, more power to you. So those are some of the things that you need to think about too in the external part of your model. So when is the perfect time for this? What sales pitch do I need? What rapport do I need to get with that person to get this model to work the way that I want it to? But anyway guys, without further ado, let's move into testing my model for that. So we have our board. Here is our board. You can see the grain going downways. For this, it's pretty thick, but the most important thing is that the grain is going downways, so our craft will be good. And it has a bit of give, it's not too hard. So, other things to note too, we've gone through our exemplar, we've seen what he can do, we've had a look at others. I have a personal exemplar in real life that I can refer to. Other things too, we've got an area that is open enough that after this board breaks, it's not going to break anything else, which is also pretty important. Other things, clothing. You notice I'm in a different shirt because the other one can be restricting on that punch. Now, all we need to do is to put all of this into motion. So those are some other important things to look at when building our model, is the environment that we're going to be doing it in and testing it out in, so that we know where and where we can't do this. So think about that too. So in this case, yeah, you want an open area, you want non-restrictive clothing so you can get that full range of motion through. Other things too on how to do it. I want to drop this board rather than throw it up and have it twirl and do all sorts of things that could potentially lead to that injury. And so also too, somewhere where I can just be, focus and do what I need to do. If I did this with a bunch of crying children or something like that, leading up to it and not practicing could potentially get me to lose my focus and hurt myself on that board. But we're here. We've gone through our knowledge, our practice. We've practiced on other surfaces. We've practiced through breaker boards. We've practiced other techniques like a palm hill. So our model is complete. So we've changed things around that need to be changed. Now we know what we need to do to achieve this. And we know our outcome is to have two parts to this board. So, without further ado, let's see if our model works. There. So, that is our model. Now, I hit right on there. Hopefully I can slow that footage down a little bit to show you. Nothing was broken, nothing was hurt. Our model was a success in this case. I'd practiced my art, I'd practiced that, I'd watched videos, I'd known what to do. So I'd studied the exemplar, I'd built my model, knew what pieces needed to be done there into being able to focus on that goal, knowing that outcome. So, there is a demonstration of the model in practice. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer too. Other things that you need to look at, so the environment, what you're wearing, what you're doing, the place that you're doing it in, to help gain a little bit more understanding and a little bit more clarity on how to do this thing. And so there we go. The model, for me, was a success. Now, to make that even more successful would be to teach it to you. I'm not going to do that because, one, I can't see you, I can't correct your technique, I can't help you along the way, I can't stop you from doing the things having injury there. But, I mean, by all means, go to a martial arts school, get an exemplar who has good technique, who will be able to properly teach you how to throw that punch through the board so that you don't injure yourself, if that's what you want to do. But how would you be able to, in, say, a sales situation, get other people to increase their sales? Or so on and so forth. How can you teach this model to someone else to make sure that your model is complete and that you can pass this knowledge on? You have your little model for sales or whatever it is, and you can just hand it to someone else to follow the simple step-by-step procedure of everything you need, everything that you need to do, everything you need to model to get this to work for anybody. But anyway, guys, I hope that brings modeling to life for you. Any area, whether it be sales, communication, mental health even, how do some of these people move past some of these other things? Anything whatsoever. Look at who you want to model, do what they do, get as much information as possible on that person, maybe even a few other people on how they do it, so you can create the best model you possibly can and achieve what you want. But anyway, guys, that wraps up this section on modeling. I'm Rob Murphy, and I'll see you in the next lesson.